Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Myra Saucedo. I am representing the University of Texas at the Permian Basin. However, it is a Sunday, and I am operating from my kitchen office. Yeah. Uh, because I feel like it's really necessary to talk about some things before tomorrow, uh, which would be October 7th. You have an intermediate draft due October 7th. Only if you want to turn that in to me for some feedback. Otherwise, I think it's October 10th, and I will check that you have a draft of the paper due, a 4-page paper in modern language association style, which means 1-inch margins all around, 12-point font, a good title. A good title is not paper one. It should have a verb in it and pull out something from your paper to make a title that engages the reader. It makes the reader want to read more, and so should your first paragraph. Because in the news business, where I was for 14 years, you had so many seconds to engage the reader with a headline and a first paragraph, and then they would go on to the next story. So you need a header, no cover page, and this paper should include quotations, which would be in-text citations, last name of the person who said the words, not the editor of the book, the person who said the words and the page number that person is in the book. So it's begin parentheses, last name Jacobs, space 25 in parentheses. So that would mean Harriet Jacobs said those words and what page you got them from. Now, I know people will tend to put the editor's name of the textbook, Levine. It's only if Levine is speaking. If it's a introduction to a reading or footnotes, then that is Levine speaking. It is not the writer. And please keep that straight. That's very important. So it's 4-page paper, and it is supposed to be how one author's text makes an argument for an expansion of natural rights and who that author's targeting with that argument. So it's like pick a text that's really rich that you read that makes arguments about against slavery, sexism, or expansion into Native American lands. Okay? And then you need to go back and say how that author's text makes the argument. That's your thesis statement, your main idea. And who is the author targeting? What audience is the author trying to reach? That's very important. It's very important to the paper. It also says, what do their arguments reveal to us about the audience's religious, social, or political beliefs? It is imperative that you discuss who you think the intended audience is in this particular paper. It's a 4 to 5-page paper, means paper must be 4 pages plus an additional works cited page citing your sources. You will cite your sources in the in-text parenthetical citations, but at the same time, you will have a final page that is in addition to your paper. It'll be on a page by itself called Works Cited. It's also known in other writing styles as a bibliography, references, but we call it Works Cited in Modern Language Association style number 8. And there, I will put a template in there for you to look at that can help you with the format for the MLA style. The 1-inch margins, no cover page, the header, your last name on the right side of the page, and the page number on every page, even the works cited page. So that doesn't count a lot towards your grade, but what counts a lot is the content, your argument, your thesis statement, your ability to find a text and find an author that was really provocative, that could be read in more than one way, and talk about what they did with in their time period, how they affected people, what the reception was. The reception means how did people receive their works? Did they agree with him? Did they not disagree with him? And how does their works make arguments against slavery, sexism, and or the expansion into Native American lands? And when you do that, you will need to quote from them. There should be quotations in this paper to back up and support your claims. So you quote from the sources that we have in your text online or your textbook. Do not go to history.com, Wikipedia, Ask Jeeves, about.com. These are not reliable sources. You will find reliable sources in websites that end in .edu or .gov for government. EDU is education, but it's best to stick with your textbook. It has introductions and footnotes, and then it has the works written by the writers. So stick with your texts, your textbooks. Do not go out to random websites and pull them in as works cited sources. They're not good sources. They're not academic. They're not scholarly. So your ideas are the most important part of the paper. And there's a question, what can we learn about these authors from the way they try to persuade their readers? Do they couch their words very carefully so not to offend anybody? I believe Harriet Jacobs did that. She apologized for the sexual assaults that were against her because she didn't want people to think that she was complicit in any way in drawing those assaults to her. And people say, why did she apologize? Guilt, shame. You would have to be a sexual assault victim to really understand, and I think that's what she was trying to convey. So, also, you could pick one of the papers that I wrote. I'm trying to stick to the script. Not one of the papers that I wrote, but one of the papers that I posted from other students that have taken this course before. They are not great papers because your requirements have been extended. They talk about one person, one text, and issues, but you need to add in how the audience was also persuaded, what the audience was that the work was projected to, and how that author tried to persuade them with their words. So this is already a 10-minute video, but I wanted to help everybody out with the first paper. And send me emails. I will get back to you. And have a good evening.